Empty hands, provided in purpose. This is a story about a wandering carpenter with almost no possessions who agrees to help a small desert community build a gathering hall. As the work unfolds one step at a time, he discovers that what is needed appears when the purpose is shared, and that service dissolves the fear of scarcity. Jonah owned very little: a bedroll, a canteen, a small pouch of tools, a patched shirt, a sun-worn hat. He traveled from town to town, mending doors, shaping tables, fixing fences, and moving on before anyone expected permanence from him. He liked it that way. No attachments, no obligations, no one asking what came next. One hot afternoon, while crossing a desert road, Jonah stopped at a tiny settlement of adobe homes clustered around a dry well. He only wanted water. Instead, he met Sister Elena, a wiry woman with bright eyes who was studying him as if she had been expecting him. "You build things," she said. "I repair things. Good enough. Come." Before Jonah could object, she led him to an empty patch of land marked with stones. "We are building a hall here." Jonah blinked. "Congratulations. You will help." He laughed. "With what wood?" "With wood." "What workers?" "With workers." "What money?" She looked at him calmly. "With what is given." Jonah shook his head. "I can't build a hall from air." "No," she said, "but perhaps you can begin with willingness." That night he stayed for supper. The villagers shared beans, flatbread, and laughter that sounded larger than the village itself. He noticed there was no hall for meals, music, or prayer. In summer, they gathered beneath the open sky. In winter, they crowded into the schoolroom. "Why a hall?" he asked. A young mother answered, "Because we keep meeting one another in fragments." An old farmer added, "A shared roof might help." Jonah slept poorly. By morning, he still intended to leave. Then he saw 3 children dragging scrapboards toward the empty lot. One girl waved. "We found the first pieces." He sighed. "One day," he muttered. Sister Elena smiled as if she had heard a lifelong vow. The first day, they cleared stones. The second day, Jonah measured the ground and drew a rough plan in the dust. The third day, a passing merchant traded unused beams for repairs to his wagon. A neighbor from the next settlement brought nails. A widow donated 2 doors she had been storing in a shed. None of it was enough. Yet something kept arriving. Jonah grew uneasy. He preferred projects with budgets and certainty. This felt improvised, exposed, and strangely alive. Each morning he asked Sister Elena, "What's the plan?" Each morning she answered, "Today's step." By the end of the first week, Jonah was frustrated. "We still don't have enough timber for the roof." "No," she said. "We don't have proper windows." "No." "The benches aren't built." "No." "So why is everyone acting as if this is working?" Sister Elena set down a basket of tools. "Because something is." Jonah looked around. Men mixed mud for the walls. Children carried water. Women sorted stones and sang while they worked. Even the oldest villagers sat nearby, twisting rope or polishing salvaged hinges. "What if it all fails?" Jonah asked. Sister Elena shrugged. "Then we will have joined for a loving purpose and learned something true." That answer irritated him because it did not sound afraid. One evening, Jonah sat with Mateo, a shepherd who had given up nearly all his spare lumber for the hall. "Doesn't it worry you?" Jonah asked. "What if you need it later?" Mateo smiled. "I already needed it." "For what?" Mateo looked toward the rising frame of the building. "For this." That night, Jonah stared at the stars and felt a quiet shame. All his life, he had believed safety came from holding back. Save your strength. Guard your supplies. Keep your options open. Yet these villagers, who had less than anyone he knew, kept giving as though the giving itself increased what they had. Slowly he saw that the hall was doing more than rising from the ground. It was joining them. Each person's small offering became part of something no one could have built alone. A single door, a borrowed cart, a hammer, an hour of labor, a meal for the workers. Nothing grand by itself, everything essential together. Weeks passed, the walls stood, the roof beams went up. Then, just as Jonah feared they would run out again, a storm forced travelers off the road. Grateful for shelter, they stayed to help for 2 days. One was a glazier with leftover panes. Another knew how to tile a roof. A third carried paint. Jonah laughed aloud when he saw them unpacking supplies. Sister Elena looked at him. "What?" "I keep waiting for proof that we are unprepared." And he watched the village moving around the nearly finished hall. "I think the proof keeps coming, that we are being carried." When the hall was complete, the whole settlement gathered inside. Sunlight spilled through the new windows. Children raced from wall to wall. Someone placed bread on a long table. Someone else began singing. Jonah stood near the doorway, unsure why tears had come. Sister Elena joined him. "You came with empty hands," she said. Jonah looked down at his calloused palms. "I thought that was my problem. And now?" He smiled. "Now I think empty hands are how we receive." He finally understood. He had not been sent to build a hall by himself. He had been invited into a shared purpose where giving and receiving were the same movement. What seemed like chance had carried a loving function. Scarcity had weakened wherever service was accepted. When Jonah left the village some days later, he still carried only a bedroll, a canteen, and a pouch of tools. But he no longer believed he traveled alone or unsupported. He had learned that you do not need the whole plan to take the next step, and that what is truly needed appears when purpose is shared. May we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.